Traditional learning versus e-learning, advantages and differences. The advantages of e-learning are: students have expressed higher satisfaction from the computer-mediated learning. Students rated this type of learning as more effective than in the traditional framework. Computer-mediated or online learning is more effective and interactive. E-learning includes many components that are familiar from traditional learning. The contents of the course's curriculum might be organized according to subjects and in a serial manner. There is time for digesting the information and responding. Responses may be made around the clock with no restrictions. Knowledge being acquired and transferred among the learners themselves. The ability to conduct an open discussion where each learner gets more of an equal standing than in a face-to-face discussion. Higher motivation and involvement in the process on the part of the learners. Differences. In classroom discussions, in traditional learning, the teacher usually talks more than the student. In e-learning, the student talks at least as much or more than the teacher. In the learning process, in the traditional learning is conducted with the whole class participating. There is almost no group or individual study. In e-learning, most of the learning process takes place in groups or by the individual student. In the subject matter, in traditional learning, the teacher conducts the lessons according to the study program and the existing curriculum. In e-learning, the student participates in determining the subject matter. The studying is based on various sources of information, including web data, banks, and net experts located by the student. In the emphasis in the learning process, in traditional learning, the students learn what and not how. The students and the teacher are busy completing the required subject matter quota. The students are not involved in inquiry-based education and in solving problems, but rather in taking tests set by the teacher. In e-learning, the students learn how and less what. The learning includes research study, which combines searching for and collecting information from web data, banks, and authorities on the communications network. The learning is better connected to the real world. The subject matter is richer and includes material in different formats. In the motivation, the student's motivation is low and the subject matter is distant from them in the traditional learning. In e-learning, the student's motivation is high due to the involvement in matters that are closer to them and to the use of technology. Teacher's role in traditional learning is the teacher is the authority, while in e-learning, the teacher directs the students to the information. Location of the learning. In traditional learning, the learning takes place within the classroom and the school. In e-learning, the learning takes place with no fixed location. Lesson structure. In traditional learning, the teacher dictates the structure of the lesson and the division of time. In e-learning, the structure of the lesson is affected by the group dynamics.